All right, young scholars, today we are going to go through homework number 7, which focuses primarily on pivot tables and the filter option within sort and filter. And we're also going to touch on the date function. So first, I want to point out that if you don't have a grade for homework number 6 yet, hopefully we resolve this issue with Excel finally. Make sure you email that in to me by Friday. So if you click homework number 7, you see we have a number of instructions here. You see there's the pivot file there. So click the caret there and then click the down arrow with the little box around it to download it. And you should open a file that looks like this with a data worksheet and a dates worksheet inside. So basically what a pivot table does is it allows you to take information from a bigger table and shrink it down into the information that you want to use or get or find, however you want to say it. So we're asked to create pivot tables for the data worksheet that will display the answers to each of the questions, and each pivot table should have its own spreadsheet. So we're asked, what were the revenues of each city in 2002? We're going to name that Part A. What were the revenues for each city in 2002 for store, catalog, and web sales? The how column. We're going to name that Part B. In each city, what were the revenue of each product? And I'll go through these again as we do them. I just wanted to give you all time to download and open. So when you opened your file, your workbook, you'll see here we have this data worksheet. We want to use the pivot table to take out the information we need. So you go to the Insert tab and select Pivot Table. And your table range is just the information within the table. So it's A1 through F1001. If you select the entire columns A through F, when you do your actual pivot table, it's going to add a section called about or unknown, something like that, at the bottom of your data. So you select New Worksheet and click OK. And you'll see you get this nice little pivot table pop up with the pivot table fields. The first thing we're going to do is click where it says Sheet 1, rename, and call it Part A. So for Part A, we're asked what were the revenues for each city in 2002. So city is our where, and then revenues. So when we go back into the pivot table, we click where for our cities, and then we scroll down and select revenue for our revenue. And you're done with Part A. So then we click back into the Data tab. We do Insert Pivot Tables again. Same thing. Our table range is A1 through F1001. New worksheet. Click OK. We right-click and rename it Part B. And this time we're asked what were the revenues, which is our where, or revenues is our revenue, for each city, which is our where, in 2002 for store, catalog, and web, which is our how. So we need to do where for our cities, revenue for our revenue, and how for the web, store, etc. sales. So now we have all our cities, all our revenues based on the how of how the product was stored or sold. And that solves problem B. C asks us in each city, which is our where, what were the revenue, which is our revenue, of each product for store, catalog, and web, the how. So we click back into the data tab, insert, pivot table, same range, new worksheet, okay. Right click to rename it part C. We do where for our city. We do revenue to get our revenue. We select how for where it's sold. And since we want to know for each product, we have to select what, which is the type of product. So when it expands out, now we have each of our products: compass, hammock, map case, etc. Now for 1D, it says, what was the total quantity of the compasses sold in London over the web? So now we have to get a little more specific with our information. So we click back into the data worksheet, insert tab, pivot table, same thing we've been doing, A1 through F1001, new worksheet, okay. Rename part D. So since we want to know the city of London, we have to do where. Since we want to know the product compass, we do what. Since we want to know where it was sold, we do how, or how it was sold. And we want to know how many of them, we have to do quantity. However, we only care about compasses that are sold on the web from the London store. So all the way on the right here, we see where and a little caret. We click that caret, a little pop-up here shows up. We deselect all and only select London. And then click OK. And now only London shows up. But we only care about the compasses. So we do the same thing with what. What, all the way on the right, there's a caret. We click it down. We deselect all and only select the compass. We click OK. Now we see the compasses sold catalog, store, and web, but we only care about the web. So next to how, all the way on the right, we click that caret. We deselect all and only select the web and click OK. And 9 show up. So for the next one, it's going to look a little different on a Mac than it is on a Windows PC based on these value properties down here that we're about to play around with. So E says, what was the average quantity of hammocks sold in each city in 2002? So each city tells us we need where, quantity tells us we need quantity, and hammocks tells us we need what, our products, but we change that to just be hammocks. So we click back onto our data worksheet, insert tab again, pivot table, same as we've done for the last 4, A1 through F1001, new worksheet. Click OK. Right click where it says sheet 5. Rename it Part E. And we do where because we want the cities. We do what because we want the product hammocks. And we do quantity. So next to what, we scroll over to the right where the caret is. We click. We deselect all. All we care about is the hammocks. So we click the check box next to hammock. Okay. Now we're only told how many hammocks are sold in each of the cities. However, we have the total. We're asked here for the average quantity of hammocks sold in each of the cities. So on a Mac, you would have to click quantity here, and it would show up in one of these options. However, on a PC, we click here where it says sum of quantity and select value field settings. And from the options provided, we change it from sum to average. And then we click OK. And instead of 115 for London right now, our average becomes a little over 3. So it averages out the number of sales we're getting per month. So the last pivot table, we're asked what were the revenues for each month in 2002. So we click back to our data worksheet, insert, pivot table, same as we've done 5 times already now. Okay, we get sheet 6. We right click, we rename it Part F. So we know we want revenues. So we click revenue. But it says for each month. So we have to click here where it says when. What were the months? When were the months? We click when. We now have the total revenue for all of the months. And now we're 60% of the way done with homework number 7. You see here we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So first we're asked to copy the data from the data worksheet to a spreadsheet named date source display data sorted by date. So we click back onto our data worksheet. We right click and select move or copy. And we select data from the list here. We click the checkbox next to create a copy. And we click OK. And now we get data 2. We right click that and rename it.
Wait, Professor, 1 second. Can you redo that? As you're lagging.
I'm lagging. Which part? Renaming it?
Yeah, it's
copying it?
Yeah, it's like making you stuck, like it's freezing your screen. So I didn't see from what you said with the copy thing.
Okay. So you'd click your data worksheet here, right click, move or copy, and then select data from the list here. Click the check mark next to create a copy, and then OK. And you get this data 2 shows up. You're going to rename that to date sort by right click and rename. So everybody's good now? Hopefully.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So now the date sort one, all we're asked to do is display data sorted by date. So we simply click above column A. We go to our little sort and filter button here in the editing pane, and we do sort oldest to newest. It gives us this little warning. Yes, we want to expand the selection because when we change column A, we want column B, C, D, and F to match up with the dates they're currently matched up with. So we click sort, and now we're done with that one. So the next two are we're going to require us to use this little fan here, the filter option. We're asked to copy the data from data worksheet to a spreadsheet named Paris and display the rows for Paris only. So we do that same thing again. We click the data worksheet, move or copy. We select data from the menu, list of our current worksheets. We click the check next to create a copy. Okay. We rename it Paris. So for this one, all we want to do is show the city of Paris. We don't care about London, New York, Tokyo, or Sydney. We just want Paris. So we click the where column, B here. And now from our sort and filter section here, we select the little fan here that says filter. When we do that, a little caret here shows up next to the where words. So we click that, and it gives us this little breakout of options. We deselect all, and we simply select the city of Paris. Once you click OK, New York, Sydney, Tokyo, London, they all disappeared. So now only the sales in Paris show up. Now the next one, copy the data from the data worksheet to a spreadsheet named Top 10. Display the values for top 10 percentage in revenue only. So even though this is the top 10, it's going to give you more than 10 results because it's the top 10 percentages. So there might be ties and what have you, because there's 1,000 different pieces of data in this table. So we click back onto the data worksheet, right click, move or copy. We scroll down, we select data from the list. We click the check mark next to create a copy. Okay. We right click, rename this one top 10. So we follow the same steps for the most part as we just did with the filter, except this time we select revenue column instead of the where column. We do the same thing. We do the filter from the sort and filter options, and we get that caret that shows up. We click the caret to get our different options. However, instead of deselecting and selecting one specific thing, like we did with Paris, we utilize these number filters. And you see there's all different options here. We're going to use the one that says top 10. When we click top 10, okay, we have show top. That's fine. 10, yes, that's what we want. Items, no. We want percentage. So we click the caret here and change from items to percent. because as we are asked to do, display values for top 10% in revenue only. So when we click OK, as I mentioned, there's more than 10 because you have ones that are tied. For example, Camel Saddle in Paris, 23.92, sold the same as Camel Saddle in London, 23.92. And we're on to the last one here. On the worksheet dates, there are 27 sales. Calculate the average number of days between sales and put the answer in cell G31. So we click our little caret over here on the side that allows us to scroll through all the list of worksheets here, and we select the dates worksheet. And you see there in F31, average number of days between sales, because we're going to put the answer in the cell G31 next. We have to do a couple things before we can even find the average. First, we have to determine how many days there are between each of these days of the sales to properly calculate our average days between sales. But before we even do that, we have to put these sales in order. See how we have August here, December here, they're all over the place. So we click the top of the A column, sort and filter, sort oldest to newest. It gives us the warning, make sure to expand selection so that everything remains matched up. We click sort, and now it puts it in order, 125, 27, 312, etc. So once we have it all sorted, we go over to cell G3, and we're able to calculate now the number of days in between each of these sales. So we do equals A3, our current date, minus A2, the previous date. And when we click enter, we see that there are 13 days between January 25th and February 7th. Once you click back into that cell, you can autofill that formula down through G28 to give you the answers for every one of them. So, for example, 7 days between December 13th and December 20th, et cetera, for all of them. And the reason we do that is because now we're going to calculate the average. So in G31, we do equals average, open parentheses, G3 colon G28, close parentheses. So G3 is where we start because there was no sale here in G2. There was nothing before the sale of January 25th. So we don't include G2. All the way down through the bottom of our pieces of data. And when we click enter, we see we're basically getting a sale every 13 days in essence, or 12.65385 if you want to be exact. So once you save all of that, you would go ahead up on a Blackboard and submit it as your homework number 7. If I went too fast, there's the recording here of the pivot tables, and then I'll put the class recording right under that as well for you to look back through. Again, for those that just popped in, if you don't have a grade on Blackboard for homework number 6, I'm giving everybody until Friday to make it up. Either you didn't have formulas, it wasn't saved submitted correctly. You didn't answer the question in number 3, where you just put A in Mandarin, or you didn't go do goal seek in number 4. Like I mentioned in the message I sent out yesterday, anybody who's contacted me about issues with Excel, I reached out to the help desk, and you now have access to both the web version and the desktop app version. So if you're still having issues, make sure to let me know ASAP so I can reach out to them and get you all set up and fixed up. Because next week is the midterm. So on Monday, we'll probably meet the entire time for the review. Like I said in the message, I do not record these because I switch back and forth between these different exams. So, for example, the practice exam in this section might be the actual midterm in the other section of this course I'm teaching. And then the midterm, like you guys all agreed, you'll have until the Sunday of the 17th after spring break to do it. The meeting on Wednesday is only necessary to pop in if you have questions on the midterm, such as, you didn't understand the instructions, you're not clear on something, etc. So are there any questions on this? No? All right. Well, if there are no questions, like I said, make sure to get homework 6 emailed to me if you hadn't done it already or don't have a grade for it already. That means that there was some kind of issue, like I just mentioned. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of your weekend, and I'll see everybody on Monday.
I must say, I have a question, Professor.
Okay? Go ahead.
I just need. Oh, sorry. I just need. I will email you because I did submit mine, but I had to do it on the school computer. But since like we're gonna have midterm next week, I did not have the goal seek on the formula, the goal seek on my computer. Should I
Okay.
email you so you can email the?
Yes, email me about that, and I'll forward your email to the help desk so that you get access to the desktop app version too.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
Okay, have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
Hi, Professor. This is Ryan. How are you?
Good. You have a question, Ryan?
Yes. So I did do the homework 6. I submitted it probably I think the next day after we did it. And I believe that everything is good on it, but I still didn't see a grade. So I'm not sure. Maybe I didn't just get a grade, or maybe there was something wrong. I'm not sure. But I did overview it before I came onto class today to look back at the sheet and what I submitted, and everything is correct on there.
Okay, I will double check it. Because like I said, most of them I just graded yesterday. I will double check and email you specifically what what any issues are.
Okay, no problem. Thank you so much, Professor.
No problem.
Bye-bye.
James, did you have a question?
Yes, I just wanted to say that I'm still having issues with my Excel.
You're still having the login issues?
Yeah,
Okay, I will forward the help desk again. I had hoped they resolved that yesterday since I forwarded your email yesterday, but if you want to email me another email with like a screenshot of whatever's happening, I'll forward that off to them by the end of the hour, and hopefully they can get this all straightened out for you because they made it seem like they resolved it yesterday.
yeah. I'll send you a picture of the proof.
All right, thank you so much.
No problem.